What an honour it is. I had Caden McDonald a couple weeks ago, and it hasn't taken me long to press the big red button another time on Kings of AFL content. Checkers, Srey, Marmalade. You single-handedly changed the game. How are we going?
He's forgotten your name already, and he lived with you just like
that's fair.
a year ago.
That was the old lisp coming into play. And I was like, fucking hell, I've nearly said Srey, and I'm like, pull that one back.
Yeah, Riley Threy.
Yeah, I get that a lot, actually.
How are we, gentlemen? First thing, I'm curious about the Undertaker shirt, the streak of the Undertaker. Were you a massive fan of the man?
No, I haven't watched any wrestling ever until you moved out of the house. So,
Where'd you get that number from?
Online somewhere. I don't know. Shrey's got me into wrestling.
We're back on it.
Now it's on Netflix. It's so accessible way. So we've been just tuning in, watching it every week on the lounge. We'll be watching the WrestleMania. Be watching.
Have you got a favourite?
A favourite at the moment in the current? I would like to see Logan Paul have some success because like he just gets beat. He's the beatdown guy. Everyone loves to see him fail because it's like he's the YouTuber. He doesn't deserve it or whatever, and people like beating him down, and the crowd love to boo him. But I was like, it'd be cool if he occasionally, got up there and had some good success. Cena's obviously going crazy right now.
Yeah,
so,
the bad guy.
yeah.
Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
has
Dirty
some of
Dom.
The best hype
Moustache.
ever. He looks unreal.
He does look dirty. He does look filthy.
Looks a bit like Dom Dollar.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, you boys are involved in everything, whether it be the tennis, the footy, the cricket. They all want to get you involved. Is there a world where the WWE, they're coming to Perth, could we see you in the ring maybe?
In the ring.
Imagine we could
Can we
get
get you in the ring?
I think you need to be quite fit to get in the ring. That's the only issue.
have you
I can't
seen-
even get through a game of footy.
No, not at the moment.
Have you seen The Big Show? Like,
Yeah,
you know.
true. Yeah, he was moving.
Right,
Maybe in the crowd. In the crowd would be good.
I'd love to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
all right, well, maybe we go. Maybe we jump on a trip to Perth. First off, we have a trip to South Australia to play another game of, biggest game of Div 12 Ressies ever, but it's State of Origin. And I want to know, how are we going bigger and better? Obviously, we had Srey's first goal a couple of years ago, which blew up the entire planet. How are we going to go bigger and better with State of Origin?
Well, we're playing at Norwood Oval, so that's hosted Gather Round for 3 years in a row now.
Yeah.
So you'd think we've gone from Lockley's Oval with zero security.
Yep.
I think we had 2 security guards that night for 5,000 people. Probably, if SA Police or anyone's listening, tune out right now.
That wasn't us.
People storming the Oval, people bringing...
They might not have even been there for the game. There just might have been a lot of avid walkers that
at
took a walk at the
9
same
PM
time.
on a Friday night, yeah. There was no parking control, nothing. So like we could have got in a lot of trouble for that. It blew up bigger than we ever thought. Last year we had all the security and the fencing, and it was good, but it just felt like it wasn't local footy again. So maybe this year we want to elevate it. We'll make the product the best product you ever see. Yep. Streaming wise, you'll have like great lights. You have a great scoreboard. You have like Channel 7 and Fox Footy style like quality camera. It's hosted Gather Round. It's hosted AFL games. So
what a G up. What a G up.
Should be able to get some good highlights going if you kick a few goals here, Rod.
I hope so. But the main highlight that everyone associates with the Marmalade boys is your first goal, Srey, which just absolutely took over the world. Is there anything that we can expect from you that will blow up the internet once again? A running bounce, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know for me.
Srey's
but
first running bounce. the crowd storms the field.
I'll be out of breath. Running bounce. 15 steps. I can't get to that with the footy.
Yeah.
Not for me, but I think Caden McDonald needs a bit of redemption.
Yeah.
He needs a serious amount of it. He needs to get on the board with some big numbers, big disposals, because it's been gone
Maybe
missing.
he's just
He's not a big stage player.
I think
goes
they're
missing.
scared with the big occasion, the man. I know the first game, I missed out last year because I was in Mexico, I think, or I was away. But the year before then, I had played in the Div 12, biggest game of Div 12 Ressies as well. And I did my shoulder. In the first 10 minutes as well, trying a little bit too hard. So maybe the key for me is to not go after a hard ball, which is pretty much
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I feel great.
Don't go after hard balls when you've got like Bernie Vince, Tom Jonas in the midfield, guys who were just in the AFL just a few years ago because it's a harder ball than we're used to in the Div 12 Ressies.
Well, people have been crying out for an eternity for State of Origin to make a big return. We have got, is it Vic versus South Australia? Is that what?
It's South Australia versus All Stars.
Right.
So there's going to be people from Queensland playing and New South Wales and maybe even Perth. So we got to spread the love, I guess.
Is there, who can we expect? Any names that might be a bit of a surprise or the usual suspects? Anyone?
We're still in the recruiting phase at the moment. I haven't done any announcements or anything, but we do have a lot of the names you've seen in the past. So you have Caden McDonald and Prime Train captaining the All-Stars.
Big primal.
Fun fact, Prime Train about 6 weeks ago unfollowed Caden on Instagram.
No, he did
And
not.
I don't think this has been publicised
No, he did
anywhere.
not. What?
He did. What do they do? What do they call it when you do like a little
Clear out.
a clean out? Yeah, clear out of his Instagram.
And Dos
And Dos got
didn't make
scrap
the
heaps.
cut. That did you boys keep the
We're still on the Prime Train follower list.
I need to check this
Are
out.
you on? That's going to be an interesting question.
I met a girl and she's trying to get into the fitness world of like, you know, when you're posting all the fitness stuff and you're getting people to sign up to your programs. And she's like, I'm not sure how to do it. And I said, check out Prime Train. If you need a hand, I can maybe like set up something and see if he can help you. She went on his Instagram and she goes, are you guys even friends? And I didn't know what she actually meant by that. But maybe that's because she went on the Instagram and I haven't made the Prime card either.
Not followed. Yeah, maybe. That could be interesting. But we haven't addressed it publicly yet. I've just been keeping that one under wraps. This is the first time we've spoken about it anywhere other than on the lounge. So, I think that'll be interesting to see how that dynamic goes, whether he gets to follow back from Prime or whether they go different way. Good cop, bad cop captains.
Yeah, maybe it's but just because Prime wanted the solo captaincy. Maybe he was there going, I'm not sharing it with this degenerate, am I?
It's like Shawn Michaels who might have done it into the barbershop window.
Yeah.
He wants all the glory.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. It's got a feel of like sort of Cripper and Sam Doherty co-captaincy when Sam Doherty was injured for 2 years straight and Cripper was doing all the work, except I'm hoping that this time the tables are turned and it's Cade McDonald that's kicking the big bag.
I think he's due.
That'll be a big content arc. I'm pretty sure we're locking in Mitch Robinson and the Bailey McCabe saga that almost blew up last year.
What was that?
So Bailey McCabe called Robbo out for a fight last year.
Bailey McCabe
does some strange things at times.
Bailey McCabe, who is, I love him to bits, and on the footy field, he might be the most lippy player I've ever played with opposition and with umpires. But the hardball might not be his greatest strength.
I don't think it's his strength at all. I think it's his greatest weakness.
Great outside
I think
runner.
he knows that.
And he wants to go toe to toe with probably the hardest footballer to ever play the game.
Yeah, so fortunately we've dug through the archives and Mitch Robinson actually grew up and played junior footy in SA, so we can tee this rivalry up.
All right, well that's a G up for me. I want Robbo to go straight to Bailey McCabe and just make him shit himself.
Yeah, whether he brings out his mate Reece Matheson, well that's yet to be decided. But you have your usual suspects you've seen. Aaron Gox trying to get down from Queensland. Obviously won the worst on ground the first year, so he's got to back it up. Mark Cosgrove won worst on ground last year, so hoping he'll back it up again.
When something like this comes up, massive content piece, sometimes you boys, you know, you're just on the TikTok and you might be drinking chalky milk and it blows up and maybe some people are there thinking, how have these blokes taken over the internet when they're just doing phone footage of drinking the chalky milk? But then you do something like this, which is astronomically big, massive. Do you reckon, not that you do it for the credit you deserve, but do you think people understand how big of an operation it is to get something like this put together?
They don't understand how big it is, but I think it might legitimize some of that new age media a little bit. Maybe a lot of people at first just didn't think TikTok or the Instagram views were worth anything, and then they see it do a public event and they go, "Wow, you actually have a following, or you actually have an impact on people or a local community." Yeah. It's not just cheap views online. They think the views are just when you get 1 million views on a TikTok, it's just nothing. But it's I guess if you look at the TV views, was the AFL average 300,000 viewers a game or something like that? And sometimes for our games, we're averaging 25 million views on the online
clips.
So people just can't equate the worth of, obviously we're not doing as much impact as the AFL is doing. That's a crazy statement, but the impact and how much each is worth is just very hard to gauge.
The weighting of it.
But you are having an impact, massive impact. I hope you boys give yourselves the pat on the back that you do from time to time because you are having an impact on everyone. Everyone loves Marmalade. You're not one that is kids specific, but you do look out for the kids. Something that I've admired about you boys is I don't believe you've taken a gambling advertisement. You've had offers.
Not for a long time. We took one early days because we had to pay rent. We were actually very close to getting kicked out of our com. But that was a couple of years ago. And then since then, we've just been pretty off the gambling. Done a few alcohol ones, but usually the alcohol ones are tied into my DJing. And they're not really in your face. Turned down a couple very recently of where they want us drinking beers at the local footy and things like that. And it was just too directly impactful on our audience. So.
Which is massive because you look at you two boys and you're the Div 12 Ressies and you boys just scream multis, beers. That's just your sort of image, but you don't really lean into that. Why is it exactly? Is it you just care that much for the
It's
kids?
already everywhere. Like, it's everywhere. Like,
We have a chance to change that perception. That's the perception that's maybe built for the last 30 years, but we have the chance to like rewrite the perception of the local footballer, I guess. We have the chance to avoid the cash grab that's there and actually write what a good football community looks like, because maybe when we have those mental health seminars on a Thursday night at the footy club, a lot of it is all gambling related, alcohol related, and it's been built and stemmed into your footy clubs well before any of us were ever at our footy club.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in the 90s and the early 2000s, before we were even playing footy, there was already at our footy clubs that we're currently at. So we were born into that culture. We have the chance to rewrite that a little bit with this social media age. So if we can get that going and, change the course of it a little bit, it might help those.
It's incredible. It's incredible that you boys take that stance. When you think of the old school stereotypical local footballer as well, on top of the punt and the drinking, another thing is, and you still see it online, unfortunately, is the shitting on women's football. That used to be super prevalent, still is now online. But you boys do a heap of AFLW content. You go to the games. Even in our private group chats, you boys are pumping up the AFLW and talking about it and getting around it. Is that important to you, or does that just, you don't even think about it, it just comes naturally because you love footy and you love watching women's
just footy, really, I think. Just another form of footy. Like, we love footy that much, you want to watch it all year round. The women's game's on. Good quality. The players are great. Every AFLW player we've met, it's been fantastic. Good laugh.
Yeah.
People have a crack at the skills, and you're like, but you'll go out and watch the VFL, or you'll go out and watch your mate play under 16s, or you'll go out and watch your kids play on the weekend. Do you have a crack at the skills when you go out to those comps?
Nah.
And it's like, there's still football, and it's still the highest level of football that you can possibly view at that current time. So why would you not just enjoy it?
It's awesome, man. It's such a good perspective, and it's one that you boys probably don't get enough credit for because everyone just sees the chalky milk and whatnot as well. But I think you are championing exactly what a local football or just a football fan should be in the modern age. And by not doing the punting and too much of the drinking, and by going out to the women's footy, it's something that is understated about you boys, but you should be super proud of.
Yeah, we definitely don't try like beat that narrative too hard because it should just be one that's natural.
Yeah.
And if we're sort of out there campaigning, you see the politicians campaign for stuff like that, like the anti-gambling and sometimes if you tell someone stop gambling, you're only making them want to do it more. It's like we're just being very natural about everything we do and just try and make it a natural and comfortable environment, and people are more likely to jump on board with it. What I was saying about like getting born into it, like your first year at your footy clubs or your first year in seniors, and this would probably resonate with you, played some senior footy, and maybe some other people listening would be, you walk into the club and the first thing they do is they take you for beers after training or after the game. You have beers in the rooms, maybe they light up a few cigarettes.
Yeah.
Then you get conned into going to the pub on a Thursday night when it's raining and you can't train on the deck, and you get on the TAB. And then at the end of the year, they take you on footy trip, and it's that culture has been ingrained in those clubs for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. And I think we do that ourselves in the Div 12 Ressies in the change rooms. It's a very different atmosphere, and instead of having to, go to the pub on a Thursday and seeing heaps of beers, we've had all these weird sessions where we've done lots of weird things, and it's just more about enjoying each other's company, and it's a weird dynamic, isn't it, at times?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's a great perspective to have on it. But you are where you are now. I bet you didn't think to have that big of an impact when you first started just making the odd TikTok here and there for Marmalade. But do you ever stop and think now when you're just involved in everything, you're on the tally, you're doing these big activations that are getting millions of views, do you ever stop and reflect and actually go, how the bloody hell have we got here?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, like, I'll message my family back home, and that's very grounding. They'll be like, what's going on? How is this happening? And you don't really think about it when you're in it. But then when you get an outside perspective, they're like, you're doing something massive. Like, we were on Channel 9 the other day, Channel 7. When you're doing it, it's just like, oh, this is just work. But when you think about it, you take a step back, it's pretty cool. And we're very lucky people. We've got the best job on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think some people don't see the doors you open behind the closed doors, like the effort that goes in to get into those places as well. Like, a lot of people just be like, oh, it's so shit that they're on TV. How the hell did they get that? They don't deserve that. And they're like, they don't see the year of grind and all the videos and all the editing and all the meetings and all the, the little steps that get you there. They just think that you just popped up there because you did one video on your phone. And it's like, it's not just one video on your phone that's going to land you regular gigs like that. Like, you can have that one viral video, but it's then following it up over and over and over to sort of cement your spots in those places. So,
yeah, man. Well, I know I'm very well placed to talk about it. One, because I've tried to be somewhat of a content creator, and I know how hard it is to be consistent or even come up with one idea that pops, let alone you boys doing it every single day and doing multiple things a year that really pop off. So it's not something that anyone can do. It does take a genuine talent or ability or something different. And I'm also well placed to talk about it because we were housemates for a year, lived together, and you're wearing the Undertaker t-shirt, and at times I thought you were the dead man because you would just not sleep all night. You're up all night editing, and I was there going, fuck, I could not do what you boys are doing. So what do you boys think separates you guys from anyone else that has tried to make content or tried to make footy TikToks or whatever that has made you get into the position you are now?
Good question.
For us, I think it's there's at minimum all times there's 2 of us. Sometimes there's up to 10 of us. Like when you get yourself and Caden and Will Taylor and Sedgy and Jarrah and everyone else in our sort of friendship group along with the footy, well, that's like a 10. But at minimum, there's always going to be 2 of us there. So double presence. And then the other thing we do is we just rock up to as much stuff as we can. We just go, we've been to 35 games of AFL this year. And I don't think even commentators or media personalities would be matching those numbers.
No way.
We went to 100 games last year. It's not just footy though. It's when we get the opportunity to rock up to an event, we take it with both hands. If it's something so small and trivial, if it's something we can only go to for a little bit of time, it's just put yourself in the right place. You never know what that's going to result in.
Yeah.
Sometimes the stuff that you think is not worth your time and you can sit in your lounge and watch TV instead, that's where the opportunities and the doors open up at those places and you're missing out. So you get FOMO when you end up sitting on your lounge watching the wrestling and someone's out at a movie premiere and they meet the head of Channel 9 or something crazy goes on like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, what makes you so likeable, do you reckon, Srey? Because everyone gets around you. You know, I think that everyone sees you, they love you, everyone wants to get a photo with you. And you just popped up in Marmalade, and for whatever reason, people really took a liking to you. Do you ever stop and think, why is it people like me and want to get photos with me? Or
yeah, it's weird. I guess like I'm unapologetically myself. Like there's no switch. Like when I'm off camera, I'm the same as when I'm on camera.
Yeah.
I'm just being me. And
you just love your footy.
Yeah, like people like that and that's okay. And some people might not like it, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, I think as long as you're being honest and you're being yourself, you put your best foot forward and keep cracking on.
Well, at what point did you both realise, fuck me, this might be a genuine career here? Like, this isn't just TikToks that are popping off. Like, this is actually something that we can quit our jobs. I think you were both working at a pub, weren't you? Both working at a pub. And what point did you go, all right, let's put all of our chips in, turn this into Marmalade and become so established in the industry?
You sort of made me realise I didn't really think about it.
We were at the pub and we started having to take days off the pub, maybe 1 day a week to go do something. So we were doing like 5-6 shifts a week. And it might be a media day pops up or an opportunity. And this is in Adelaide where there's not a heap of opportunities as well. Would pop up. So we'd go to the boss, say, hey, like, we do this social media stuff. It's all helping his pub in the end. And he was really on board with it. But we're like, we need to take Thursday off because we need to go to this media op. And then the next couple of weeks down the track would be, hey, we need to take Thursday and we also need to take Sunday arvo off because we've got something else on. And then it got to the point where we were doing just 2 shifts a week or whatever because we had so much on. And I was like, well, if we're in Adelaide just doing 2 shifts a week and we're that busy, we should probably look at how can we get it to a full-time thing. We don't have to do the 2 shifts. Yeah. And that was just moving to Melbourne. It was trying to put ourselves in somewhere that had a lot more footy going on, a lot more opportunity. But yeah, it got to cutting. It wasn't like all of a sudden like light bulb thing. It was like over
just gradually happened.
Cutting the shifts back, making the income still try to stay steady enough and going, all right, we've gone from doing 40 hours to now we're just probably doing 12 hours. And even those 12 hours, my mind's not really at the pub. Yeah. It's about, I probably should be here. I probably should be there. So yeah. It was like a 6-month transition.
We've sort of created an industry because obviously K-Dos was doing it on YouTube, which was awesome. But as far as I'm aware, there's nobody else that has made a full-time job out of doing short-form content of AFL in the country. Would that be accurate to say?
I think if they did, they'd be having other incomes. Like we've spoken about Prime Train. His main source of income is probably his PT and online coaching business, but you would consider him an AFL content creator. Yeah. The Shep mates, you could say, do it, but they also do everything. Like they're so transposable that they could do soccer and golf, and they collab with the NFL and all sorts of stuff like that. So out of pure AFL content creators, it's a thin market. There's not a lot of... it's growing. It's definitely growing really quick. The last like 12 to 18 months, there's a heap more people doing it. But yeah, it's gonna be there's enough money to go around, enough brand deals to go around to make all these guys have the desire to keep on doing it.
Well, it's sick you boys got in first. Do you have a desire, like so many people that are on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, they do it with an eye of, I know this wasn't you boys, but an eye of, I want to be big time, I want to be famous, I want to get on the tally. Is there a thought in your head of, how good would a Marmalade show be on Fox Footy or on the radio or whatever it might be? Or are you boys just locked into the short form?
There's ideas where you go wild, but like Srey said, he's just himself, and we try to be ourselves. He's actually the world's worst actor.
Very bad at
So
acting.
if you ever see a video and you're like, that's terrible, it's because he's trying to act. And if you ever see a video where it's like normal, it's just him being himself.
You can't trust actors.
You give this man lines whenever we do like brand deals and other people film for us, and you give him a set of lines and how to act. It is the most painful 100 takes that you'll do of
So
each
bad.
line.
It's good though. It means you're an honest man. You can't trust actors, and it's why I don't trust Eric Banner. And he's there at the St Kilda games, and I'm there thinking, you can't really still love St Kilda after all this time of being, Hollywood, and you're still going to Marvel Stadium against North Melbourne.
Honestly,
Are you a paid actor?
Yeah, it's a good question.
But then what I was trying to say was if we did a show, then it would need to be so ourselves. And if we wanted to do something, it had to be something that would fit us. I know sometimes like Caden will he'll want to get on TV, he'll want to get on radio, and he's got these dying passions. But we could follow those suits, but would they suit us? Or would we have Srey fumbling his lines 45 times because he doesn't want to actually do that? So we just try what we want to do, and the ideas shift and change as we go along, but got to keep it as natural as possible, I think.
Mate, it's so good that you are natural, because you two, and I say this with love, the most love in the world, are some of the most rogue operators I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes your content so good, is because it's not like you're trying hard to be rogue. You just are rogue blokes, and you just do that, and it bloody works for you. And I had Caden on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about other boys in the industry. Do you ever see them as, not in a negative way, but healthy competitors, or do you see it as like, we're all in the same boat? And he was talking about how you boys come up with ideas that he couldn't even remotely in a million ideas think of, because you're just such different people. And he said that Marmalade especially, how you go out of your way to help everyone in the industry, whether it be me doing a podcast like this and you drop everything to come, all the rest of it, you always go out of your way to help people. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or do you just believe in the rising tide lifts all boats?
I think there's enough food at the table that everybody can eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there should be any reason we put someone else down or don't share an idea with them because they're doing the same stuff. I think it'd be silly. Like,
It's more frustrating having that idea, knowing that it wouldn't suit us, and it might suit a Caden or a Baz or a Jarrah or a Will, and not seeing it come to life. Like, it's frustrating knowing that you're onto a winner, but you can't execute it. Like, sometimes we'll go to those guys and be like, you should do this, because it's not us.
Nah.
And Will's a prime example, because he plays the cricket role really well. We don't do a lot of cricket stuff, and I think a few times throughout cricket season you give him a little nudge and you go, here's an idea, he'd boost on it. And it's just so good seeing it come to life and seeing like people
It's such a
enjoy
good
it.
community, man, because I think there are like many worlds out there where it is competitive in the wrong way and toxic, and everyone's competing for views or whatnot. But it's meant that we do have our little group and we're all in the same boat. It's fucking awesome.
You see people like in those groups, they hide that's like, we'll have like this crazy cool idea for like, you should do this skit. Roger, you should do this skit. But I could be a really toxic person in our group and be like, I'm not going to tell Roger this skit because I don't want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
Don't want him to leapfrog me or whatever. But I think the good thing is that at the table of friends we've got is it's a Caden going, oh, we should try this out at footy on the weekend, and you guys have to lead it because it's not so much me. Or, the ideas are spread across to wherever they're going to work best.
Have you got and this is sort of 20 questions made in the footy record, but have you got a favourite bit of content you've ever put out? I'll tell you one bit of content that I bloody loved was all the Lenny stuff. Lenny's game. Lenny's game was magic. Everyone got around that. That was awesome.
He brings the vibe every week to the change
Big
rooms.
Len.
Yeah.
Last year at Gather Round, we did a video with Port Adelaide, and maybe it hurt Lockie Jones's career, and maybe he doesn't like reliving it, but we did a song, and it was something that we've never done. And I see a lot of other creators do songs, and like, speaking of like content that's not natural to us, it wasn't natural to us, but by picking Lockie Jones out and by having the song so twisted and at Port Adelaide and Albion,
It was Dr. Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dr. Jones remix. Yeah, love that.
it became natural to us, and I was like, always watch Caden's parodies. other people doing parodies in the industry and going, that's just, it's cool, it's creative, but it's not us.
Yeah.
But to finally pull one off and for it to feel natural was pretty cool. Like,
when did you, speaking of music, like you were, before this content popped off, a DJ. So did you get behind the decks as well, don't you?
he did on the weekend.
I did on the weekend, actually. I don't know near as much as the great man next to me, but...
Didn't you start with Fiend?
I can have a look at it.
Yeah, I played Fiend at the showdown. Srey played my gig afterwards because I was cutting hair in the crowd.
He was, giving haircuts
So
in the crowd.
He
At
had
the
to take
club.
over the decks.
Did you play Kanye's new song?
No, I don't know that one. I don't know
I
that
haven't
one.
listened to it yet, actually.
No, I listened to it the other day. It's very questionable.
Yeah, probably for the best you didn't play that. I don't know.
The Port Adelaide did say to me, "Can we have your set list?" And I'm not really like a big like pre-preparer for music. It's just whatever. You could pre-prepare a set list, so you rock up and the whole crowd's like 40-year-olds, and you're not going to play Fiend then, are you? So I just was like, "Oh, I'm on the plane. I can't really do it." And then I said, "I promise, there'll be no swear words or drug references." And then saw all the kids in the crowd and was like, "Oh, we're going to play Fiend."
Yeah,
and
have to.
Click the bloody non-explicit version. Or the explicit version, and it's just full of bitches and fucks and swear words. So
did you cop any backlash from that? Didn't Jordan Boyd get behind the decks at a Carlton gig you're at and start playing some pretty rogue explicit tunes?
Yeah, he wanted to play a bit of Kedema and Party Boy 69.
Yeah, he was a bit heavy.
Yeah, I think he just wanted the bass, not the lyrics.
Is my man Boydie getting back in the senior team?
Get him on a headline set at Revs.
I would hope so. But outside of the content, you boys have dominated it. We were also housemates. You boys still live together. Yes. What's it like living together? You ever get on each other's nerves a bit, or what's the any housemate dynamics?
No, the house just smells all the time.
Yeah.
Nick Kappa, the comedian, came over one day, brilliant stand-up comic, came over and he just was overawed with the stench of the house. He didn't know if he could come in.
A lot of farts going on in the house, I think.
We've added Seji into the dynamic, and he likes to cook with a lot of soy sauce, fish, kangaroo meat.
Well, you've replaced a half Filipino in me with another half Filipino, and we love our tangy foods.
Really pungent food smells. So if we get the house clean and we get some candles going and some air freshener going and the windows open, the house starts to smell good.
Yeah.
And then said you'll whip out the fish, soy sauce combo.
Tasty food, but
stink the whole joint out
an
again.
aroma.
I'll tell you, one of the great side quests that we completed when we were living together was the Deal or No Deal side quest.
Rogue.
Rogue, guys. We went on there.
I didn't want Srey on there.
We
applied with Srey and they didn't accept him.
No, very fair. Very, very fair.
Yeah, they brought in Will Taylor. You know, it's one thing to get rejected by a girl on a night out, but to get rejected by a Deal or No Deal is a whole nother level.
Endemol Shine casting got a vendetta against
Srey. You start
Srey.
asking a couple of questions of your mental fortitude.
But you know the Deal or No Deal crowd. If you look at the Deal or No Deal crowd, that is sort of like the ultimate. Like, think about your lowest socio-economic areas, like 24/7 Kmart. Like it's the who's who, the peanut gallery of that sort of.
There's no suits. There's no briefcases. There is briefcases, but that's the first time these people have ever seen them.
It's like a melting pot of just everybody and anybody.
And you didn't get a gig, which is a shame.
Wow.
But we did. we did get on there, Check Man. What are your memories of the Deal or No Deal experience? You put together one of the great performances of all time.
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect. They play it bay by bay, which is really annoying. So was there 5 bays or something, 6 bays, and each bay is an episode.
Yeah.
And just luck behold, our bay was the last fucking episode of the day. Like.
So we say that it is. If you're ever thinking about auditioning for a show like Deal or No Deal, just know 99% of people don't get on, and if you don't get on, you are sitting there through like 8+ hours of repeated Deal or No Deal.
I can't remember the last time I watched an episode of Deal or No Deal like on TV cut down to 22 minutes with ad breaks.
Yeah.
But these are like an hour recordings because there's so much dribble in there and re-recording and the lighting was wrong and each episode took like an hour of the day and then just the most boring people. No offense to anyone that was in the room, but there's some boring stories there that I had to sit through going, I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here sweating my dick off. When are we going to go up there and when can I go home?
Did they take your phones?
No,
we couldn't pull our phones out. You can't pull your phones out and film. And like, I live on my phone. I was like, I'm going to come out of this with emails, video calls, Zoom calls I need to pick up. and I'm sitting here listening to a 50-year-old woman dribble about how she needs the money to pay for her kids' toys or whatever. I'm like, give me a spell. Get me out of here.
You can get a little Instagram reel scrolling either. That's rubbish.
It felt maybe you sound like a bit of a diva, but like we were there for 8 hours.
It's brutal. It's
before
brutal.
we could get to anything.
And when I went up because we were last, I went up for my episode, and they do the "come on down, Connor Rogers," crowd goes ballistic. I go down, and then they stop the cameras, and Grant Daniel leans into my ear when they're readjusting the cameras and whatnot, and goes, "Mate, I'm absolutely knackered. I need you to take the energy here. If you've got it in you." I'm like, I'm not surprised, mate. You just had to bloody sit through 10 episodes to deal with it.
I vividly remember you freaking out because you were meant to be hosting trivia at the Rochi.
Yeah.
And you're going, I need to get out of here in the next 46 minutes or I'm not going to make it to trivia on time. And all the episodes have been taking an hour.
Yeah.
So there's Roger with his moment in the limelight going, I'm on TV, I'm recording Deal or No Deal, but I've also got to cut this down 14 minutes from what we've been averaging.
And I was there going, I'm just about to win 35 grand. It turns out to be 35 grand. It could have been any sort of money, but I'm just about to win money. But all I could think about was $150 I've got on the line by hosting trivia at the Raunchy. I was like, get me there.
A couple of dinners.
Yeah.
No, we put on a little bit of a clinic with Grant, so held the episode. I think they keep replaying it. It's been one of the most replayed episodes.
Mate, they don't just replay this, right? It would be nice if they got the 35K every single time they replay it. Be a millionaire. But they don't just replay it. I had a random message me, DM me, and he goes, "Hey, Rog, you don't know me, but I'm at the Singapore airport and your episode is on at the Singapore airport."
Mate, you got international with it.
Where's the royalties? Normally when my face goes on TV, I ask for a little bit of coin, but this time I'm just sitting there for free. Had to sit through 10 hours of studio filming and get played 600,000 times on TV.
It's funny, the storyline of the show, everyone had a story, like someone needed to, feed their kids or, all this sort of stuff, or they've had some life-threatening injury that they need fixing up. And not to discount how much we need life-saving surgery, that's fair enough. But one thing that we kept on going back to was we needed money to fix the oven. That
Trey broke with a cricket bat.
Talk me through that experience, Traders.
Well, so during the day, maybe I played cricket. Well, played loosely is a loose term.
You were named in the team.
I was in the 11. So we head down, the boys played cricket. I didn't have a bat or a ball when I stood in the field for 70 hours and was hating it. So maybe we went to the pub and had a few drinks.
Yeah.
To maybe cool down. And
as you should.
let some steam
Hydrate.
off. Yes. Maybe we got home a bit late.
Okay.
And maybe we played cricket in the lounge room.
Which is what we do.
Yeah. Maybe as I went to swing the bat, I made connection with the glass oven door. And then maybe in my state, I tried to clean it up and left glass everywhere for about 3 weeks and couldn't figure out to clean all the glass up.
It's one of those ones where, someone will be doing something like that and you think, should I tell him, be careful of the oven? And you're like, nah, he knows where the oven is. Like, I won't say that. But sure enough, bang, the bat goes straight
Didn't connect
through.
with any balls, and the only thing you connected with all day was the oven.
Yeah.
The glass oven.
And then it took about 3 months to get fixed.
Yeah. I don't know if that
Which
was
is why we brought it up on Deal or No
I
Deal.
sent a couple of emails and didn't get
I
responses.
think as if the air fryer didn't get enough of a workout. When the oven was out of order, it took it to another level. Aside from friends in the content sphere and aside from housemates, we do also play footy together
Sometimes.
in the Div 12 Ressies. Where do you think we're at this season? And I want to know, have you got a favourite teammate, someone you really love running out alongside every week?
We've missed 2 games out of the 5 that we've played, which is a bit...
I've missed 3. I think I've only played 2 games.
Yeah, a bit crazy considering I'm the coach.
Yeah, you think you might want to be there.
Yeah.
The VAFA started the season on the week of gather round, which isn't just not ideal for a team full of content creators.
A little bit silly.
So a few of us missed out the first week, and then last week we were at the showdown DJing and missed out on the game because fixture got changed on us last minute. So hard to tell. We played in 2 losses, 1 win and 1 loss. I can't remember what the other game was.
Yeah.
It's fading on me. All I know
Too many concussions.
is it's all Cater McDonald's fault every time we lose.
Yeah.
And then anytime we win, it's all my fault.
It is.
It's on us.
Who's my favourite teammate?
Player. I like Austin Cookson.
Oh, he's
love
tough
playing
as,
with
isn't
him.
he?
The commitment to catch the V line from Geelong to Wattle Park to get put on the bench for half a game.
It is sensational.
So
and he cracks in that hard, does the young King
He's a
Cookson
bull.
for sure.
yeah.
Has to be Cooko. Also because he sleeps on our couch.
He reminds me of
so
like
hangs out
Liam
with us all.
Baker.
Yeah.
Cooko, like Liam Baker, just at the moment, Cooko's hair's fading a little bit. But
no, don't tell him that.
he's a bit of a utility that likes to just throw his body around. So
I'm on the hair pills and have just bought my first cap, so I
Yeah.
think that I'm starting to join the trend that is losing hair as we get into our older ages. Some of my favourite characters, I love Dos the cherry picker.
Yeah, he's been
But-
copping a bit for it.
At the same time, I think that if I was sitting in the forward pocket and I was just standing on the last line, I don't think I'd just walk in and kick 5-6 goals every single week.
No.
There's genuinely an art form to it. Have you guys figured out how Dos manages to just get on the end of 7 goals every week on the last line?
No, it makes no sense.
he must have played indoor soccer at school just over and over and over and just being the guy that was just slipping out the back when there's no offside.
Yeah.
Like, he just loves to just leave his defender and be 40 metres in the clear on the goal
Hang out the
line.
back.
Josh Jenkins style, just put it on my foot and I'll kick it through the last line
The
of
Jay the
defence.
Goose. But in saying that, as much as he does, hanging out the back on the last line, it seems like every week he's kicking a dribbler from
He
outside
doesn't
the arc.
miss. He
Yes.
doesn't miss,
Like-
which is the one thing he's got. He can kick it from anywhere. The videos are just nuts. Highlights reels are nuts. So that is his one advantage. He doesn't miss, but he's,
Unlike our friend Cam Yatora, who kicks the same amount of goals and points every week.
Well, it's wild. I brought down Mickey Allen last year, brother of Daniel Allen,
Yeah.
the gun editor, cameraman, recorder of everything we do in the Div 12 Ressies and the
100%.
Rog Pod as well. Brought down Mickey Allen, best mate. He drops the ball with 2 hands.
Yes.
You've got Rogie Boy, drops the ball with 2 hands. And then you bring down Cam, me mate from the stand-up world. He drops the ball with 2 hands as well. So I don't know if there's just something
were
in
they
the
Did
air.
you
teaching
play
them?
Oz kick together?
Yeah, we must have.
Yeah, because your Oz kick coach out in the sticks has a big issue with.
I think the issue is none of us played Oz kick.
Yeah,
I think
that
we
could be
didn't
also
learn.
the
Yeah,
issue.
we learned by ourselves in the backyard. Another character, we've got Baz, who always rocks up about 20 minutes before the game starts and abuses the opposition. What's your take on Bailey McCabe?
we had a spat on field last time we played,
Yeah,
so that
we
was
did.
interesting. Told him to go fuck himself,
That was great, actually.
which the cameras picked up.
Yeah. You might be the first ever captain coach to tell a player to go fuck himself on the field. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was deserved. Baz was just dribbling.
It did
nonsense.
I didn't have the magnet board. If I had the magnet board and I was the coach, I would be throwing the magnet across the field. But unfortunately, I was out in the field. So Willie T had the magnet board. He should have been throwing that magnet as far as he could. Baz, it's one of those ones where you hate those moments, but you love them as well because they're good stories. And like you look back on them, you're like, yeah, all right, yeah, we need a bit of. Every team needs a little bit of Baz. Like the Harley Reid. He's got that Harley Reid about him. It's Baz versus the world sometimes, and he loves to try fight the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, you love watching those guys.
When you're winning, Baz is the best player on your team. When you're losing, Baz, it's like a complete utter meltdown. He loses the plot. If we're losing,
He
it's
does.
gone.
He does go off like a cut snake, does the Baz man, but it's why we love him. 2-pronged question. Do you think we can win the flag? And if we do make it to a big dance, how many people would you reckon come and watch bottom division? Like, what division actually are we? Like, I know
We're
we did
now in
go
the
for-
bottom. We
bottom
got
one.
regraded to Division 5 of the thirds.
So is that 15, is it? Is that like
Yeah,
15th
it'd be-
division team?
yeah.
Something like
If you
that?
counted it, I think it might be 16 or 17.
16th or 17th division.
It's low.
Yeah, which isn't the best standard of footy. How many people do you reckon we could get to a Div 17, Ressies, thirds, whatever it is, grand final?
At least 4.
That-
At least 4.
I'm with you there. I didn't
Yeah, I
think we could
reckon
get
at
at
least
least 4.
well, the Masala played in our comp, and they had Guy Sebastian and Fev on the weekend, and they got 2,500 people
They
at
stole the thunder a
at
bit, didn't
9 a.m.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
that's the start. That's the tough one. Like we're pulling out 5,000 people to these big games at 7 p.m. time slot on a long weekend where there's not a lot of footy on.
Yeah.
These guys are competing with Saturday fixtures and got 2,500 at 9 a.m. is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Depends what time they put our game on. We'd be begging for the 7 p.m. time slot.
Yeah. Well, that's what it surprised me when I watched when I played in the first biggest game of Div 12 Ressies in South Australia. Is it was on Friday night footy. Carlton Collingwood was on at the same time, and I know that obviously Carlton Collingwood isn't as big in South Australia as what it is in Victoria. But for thousands of people to make the choice to I'm going to go watch Div 12 Ressies instead of Carlton Collingwood is absolutely mental.
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it?
It was like 50,000 people watching the YouTube stream at one point. So,
True.
yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
How many people do you think we get at State of Origin?
What does it hold?
Norwood holds 10,000. I don't know. It's easy to access. It's in the city. It's probably, if you're a parent and you've got a family of kids, you'd probably be a bit more inclined to send them to Norwood Oval.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. So that's the advantages it's got. It's just we just got to get these players signed and make sure there's some good talent and a good spectacle on.
Yeah, Caterham doesn't draw 10,000 people, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Nah, but we'll find a way.
We'll get it done. I think I'd love to get 10. It would be amazing.
Imagine we win a big dance. Imagine playing like we are literally playing with like our best mates, winning a big dance. The celebrations would be out of this world.
It'd be silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just be silly.
Yeah, well, we got to
imagine Lenny accepting the trophy.
That have Lenny in the big ski goggles with the alcoholic champagne, spraying it like he just won the NBA championship.
We might need to like get a big space that has like a separate room where we can have a couple cots set up and have Lenny and Roaming Has sort of in there, just sort of lullabies playing in the background for those two for sure. Couldn't be happier with both of you coming on here. Couldn't be any more pumped up for the game coming up. Is there any more you want to touch on about the game coming up? Something that you want to pump up, or just tell everyone to get down?
Just come down. I wish I had more information for you right now, but it's coming in the next few weeks. It's 24 days away. I know we've left it tight, but it's going to be 24 days of like good content to come in the lead up, some good announcements. So wish I could come here and say, yeah, we've signed Gary Ablett Jr., but unfortunately the deals haven't been done just yet. So the recruitment stuff and the announcements are coming. Just if you want to see them come, maybe jump on the socials or jump on the event. You can look it up on Facebook and you'll get to, you'll get all that information as it comes out. So
well, can't wait to play in it myself and alongside you boys again. And I know I touched on it earlier, but you boys have sort of created an industry in a lot of ways. You have people like a Roaming Has, a Daniel Allen, that's our cameraman and whatnot. All these people working in and around you, sort of enjoying themselves and being able to get fun out of everything they're doing because of the stuff that you guys are doing. So doing an incredible job, boys. Keep on going with it. Fucking love yous. Proud of yous. Long may it continue.
Cheers, Roger. Thanks.